I followed the priest to the church after saying my goodbyes to Acrio. The priest was nice, if a little nervous, and was kind enough to take a look at the collar on my neck. Told me it was something to bind demons. But I can't be a demon. That sounds wrong. Anyway, he told me he couldn't help me to get this off. I'd need to go to Thraben to find someone. Well, I thanked him and went on my way. Tried to find Acrio again. A little awkward after I said goodbye and thought it might be the last I see of him, but he's a kind man.
It seems that no matter what we did for Corsiva, it hasn't helped it. There's still things going wrong. But I find it a lot harder to care about it these days. Especially since I know that in a few days I'm just going to be left alone in here.
We get outside the walls. Talk to a guy named Red Eye. I think I liked his way of life. Being pretty content. They're safe. I like it. We got some possible leads. Sold a dog to butcher of some kind, and we split up again.
Found him still investigating the murder with the others. It's strange that there's werewolves here after I've heard all the assurances that vampires keep this place, well, werewolf-free. It's weird. Makes me think of something, but it's like a feather tickling the back of my brain. Anyway, met up. And he agreed to get me up to at least Silburn.
We got into town. We went to talk to the general store owner. He seemed intense, knowledgeable about the city. I think I like her. Told us about vampires and that the guy I was going to sell the painting to is one as well. Now, I've met really a lot of types of people, but I think vampires is just a bit above my pay grade. So I'll stay the fuck away. I have no idea what the fuck I'm going to do with the paintings, but I guess we'll find out. We got back. We told each other about our findings, and during this, I think they were spirits. They seemed like spirits. Couldn't communicate though. Long gone. Tortured souls? I'm not sure. I need to ask Riken about it.
And suddenly it got hot. And undead started appearing. As well as something else. Something was controlling the dead. We fought. It was hard. A lot of the other people, Lorelei, Acrio, Amrita, were all badly injured, as well as me.
Anyway, I kept myself safe because I'm sure as hell not going to give up my life for these assholes, but they seemed to catch me. I went out, and they got me back up. Didn't have to. What's a smile on my face?
Spirits rose out of the ground. It seems that no one can really escape the horrors that have occurred between these walls. The people here can't. I can't. No one can. But I at least managed to keep everyone in this group alive a little bit longer. I don't know if I can say the same for myself.
And Lorelei is the only one who is unconscious as everything is settling down. The executioner smoke that had invaded her lungs just kind of spilling out of her mouth. Doesn't rise up, but rather kind of falls back to the street and drifts across it. She seems to still be breathing in and out, but on the last bit of her vitality.
Getlar, can you help her? I'll come down from the roof, Jake.
Sarah's gonna go to her and check that she's not currently dying, because she can't do much else right now.
Sure. Does she have any kind of proficiency? She wouldn't know if she was trained or not, but medical knowledge.
I did put her medicine proficient.
Okay, go ahead and you can roll for that.
Yay!
So you almost instinctively know that she's still breathing. You can see the smoke heave out of her lungs briefly a couple times before it's completely dissipated. And she is, all the signs of life are still there, but she's just not conscious. It's as if she had been choked out until her mind went black and hasn't been awoken yet.
How closely are they investigating to see if she's okay?
That's a good question.
Probably checking pulse, making sure she's breathing, stuff like that.
Casually
Would they see the stitches?
So with your 21, it's pretty thorough. And Asuriel, you find when you go to raise her arm and check the pulse, you find this braided woven bracelet that looks to be made of like incredibly fine threads or possibly even hair, black hair, that then from the wrist, actually a bunch of strands of it go up her arm, just across the skin. But you pull the sleeve up just a little bit and you find there's maybe a week-old gash in her arm where the threads or hairs of this bracelet just stitch themselves pristinely through a cut.
Damn, boy.
Ew.
She's still alive?
Yeah, she's breathing. She'll probably wake up in a few hours.
Can you
What's
slap
all
her up?
this though? She kind of look. Oh wait, Amrita's not here.
So you actually go to look for Amrita, who you catch just the tail end of her, the rid of her cloak. She had been breathing heavily. She's also very wounded. Those of you with a high passive perception would have noticed that her labored breathing had almost started to turn into a growl. Just every time she was taking a breath as the blood was pouring out of her body, and she bolted from this scene.
Bye.
Okay, she's got a very special bracelet. Let's get her somewhere more comfortable.
Lorelei,
Yes.
in your unconscious state,
Uh-oh.
you weave through corridors, cold stone. It's disorienting at first, and soon you recognize the lavish layers of a vampiric castle. You see the blind eyes of a vampire. You see them look upon a traitor in her midst who bolts. Snow-covered mountainsides. Scenes of violence. Blood in the snow as a young man's body lays unmoving.
She just goes and sits in the snow next to the pool of blood.
As you go to sit, suddenly the body twists, the face directly toward you, and you hear a shriek. And the rest of you, in your conscious states, hear the same shriek. It's invading her mind from the real world. There's a woman in the streets who has screamed. Looking out, you see a militia guard and a couple townspeople with pitchforks and their basic farm equipment fighting off one of the ashen creatures that had been turned by the angelic magics. Just one they can handle, and they fight it back until it is destroyed and slumps into this almost mud-like pool as the rain continues to drizzle down on you.
I'll move towards them. Is everyone all right?
I think we've got this one handled. Thank you.
See if any got away. Is anyone else struggling?
We'll keep an eye out.
Has this happened before?
Not often, but a couple times, especially in the last month or so.
Oh. Okay.
Always got to be on guard.
Sure do. Even the city isn't safe. Doesn't go well. These are sort of gone. I hope they're gone. Most of the time they aren't.
For now.
Is there any, like, they've already been burned because they're ash? Anything we need to do with that stuff? I'm not really familiar.
Church does what it can. It's not really our job.
Okay. Be safe.
As you turn from this man, you hear the voice and the presence near you. Very close to your ear, almost sorrowful, say, "This ain't natural. Something foul went down here."
Did you get any read on them? Did they say anything? Or just anguish?
That was the bulk of it. But they weren't killed for no reason.
Do you think this was revenge?
I think this was hate. More than I felt in a long while.
Sorry.
Do you still feel it? Is there anyone I can talk to?
They fled from this place.
I'm not sure that's good.
But keep an ear open, kid. I know you will too.
Well, thanks. I think Cillian works to carry himself as best as he can, trying to appear not wounded at all, but he is kind of slumping, but his shoulders are straight.
I assume he goes and picks up as many of his
Yeah.
iron needles as he can collect.
Yeah. Fit them back all across his body. Make sure they're still sharp. They seem to be because they hit ash.
There really wasn't much resistance to it.
You guys are quite talented. Good job. You say thank you after a compliment.
Why, thank you, good sir. As he's sitting, Acrio doesn't get into combat much, at least up until now. So he's while one arm is holding the shield and not letting it go, the hammer's like always within 5 feet of him, and he's got the shield up to his chest in case anything else comes out. And he's just like, with the other hand, kind of reaching for medical supplies and trying to patch the few places where they broke through the armor. Kind of using the hammer. He doesn't look like he's hurt because he immediately uses the hammer to cast mending on everything and cover up any form of wound. So he's still pretty goddammit. So he's bleeding and bruised, but like his armor's in
and it's
condition.
mostly bruised because you'd noticed most of these ashen forms, they went for the throat to try to choke. For the most part, that did cause some damage. Most of you are spitting up blood more than having anything like physical wounds on the outside. but there was a lot of smoke that had poisoned you in your throat. That obviously disrupted your lungs. So most of your
Except
injuries are internal.
The giant smoke guy just fucking beating us with his fist. That was a little more physical.
It was,
Yeah,
but there was
there was
also
a bit of fire. There was a bit of
bludgeoning
spice.
damage. Yeah, there was. Yeah, you've got some burn marks. The embers that had hit your eyes. Several of you are still having to wipe ash and such out of the corners of your eyes because it's just still irritated, even though you can't see.
I sure don't need a cigarette for a while.
Smoking kills, guys.
Smoking
This has just been
kills.
this whole thing was just an ad, one of those like anti-smoking ads.
A really long cigarette, like,
You wouldn't
PSA.
smoke an enemy.
you wouldn't download a cigarette.
Do we need to carry her somewhere? Because I really don't want to.
I think it might be better than leaving her out here.
Oh,
How-
heavy.
How does she look fragile in any way? Can I just scoop them up?
I mean, yeah, you'd have to have somebody else either carry your shield or you can find a way to strap that to your back or something so you have both your hands. But yeah, you could carry her. She's not a particularly heavy looking individual.
Leather. It's pretty
Mhm.
light.
Okay, fine. I will put my shield on my back.
Bruh.
Chaos reigns.
So he'll put it on his back and he'll grab the hammer, hold it out to Asuriel for her to carry it.
Yeah,
The
she'll
hammer?
take
The
it.
hammer. 'Cause-
Mjolnir.
Yeah, Mjolnir.
Make a strength check.
Yeah, that's twice the size of you, girl.
Yes. Strength, I'm good at that.
Ariel could probably curl up and fit inside the head of the hammer.
Yeah, Acrio holds
So-
it out with one hand and she grabs it with two.
To carry it, you're gonna have to use both arms to cradle either side of the hammer. And use all of your strength to keep it from dragging the ground.
Cillian is decisively not offering help.
Ouch.
Going back to the Franid Roth then.
Yeah.
Chill a bit. Actually,
Carry the dead one back to the inn.
you take care of her. That's something I want to do.
Is that something I can do?
Just that
Yeah,
you
I'll keep her alive.
sounds ominous.
Okay.
You can
Listen,
go ahead.
I'm gonna go keep an eye on the captain. I'm gonna know his comings and goings. I'm not sure of anything. But I'll shadow him for a while. See what comes up. He was just a bit too eager. Cover it up.
Yeah.
He said he was at the barracks, right?
Huh?
He said he was at the barracks?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll find it. Good luck.
Grab
Bye.
the cut. Anyway, what were we talking about? I heard nothing of that conversation. I'm just walking. You're a single baby.
Lorelei, real quick, you can roll a d4 to see how long it takes for you to
I was just
regain
about
consciousness.
to ask, like, how long is it going to be until
Yeah. Unless somebody
Twat.
does like something to actively awaken you without, causing a concussion or something.
Does healing do that?
Well, she's not at 0 hit points is the thing. Like, she was choked out unconscious, but she's still has, mechanically, she's still fine. She's just unconscious.
Oh, so you need like a lesser restoration or some shit.
Potentially.
So if I cast Divine Arm on her and then Healing Word,
Do not. Don't. That's not gonna. No.
It's a automatic critical hit if against an
You just kill me.
incapacitated creature.
It's like after you be like, yeah, I'll keep her alive. Cut her head off by accident. So about that.
Hey,
What I meant was
I can get oops. She was probably evil. I don't kill things that aren't evil.
What, did the big droopy stitchy arm not make you think I was evil?
I didn't see that. Asuriel did.
Yeah, you started pointing out to Amrita, but then Amrita was
Amrita was gone.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, okay then.
Deuces.
Hiya.
So, Amrita, after you have, like, bolted from the alley into the rainy streets, still coughing up blood and kind of seeing red almost from this pain, where does she go? What does she do?
Kind of quickly looks around and everything, and would they technically be near Jan? What would she be near, like Jan's mansion, old mansion?
Not incredibly far from it. I mean, you're not right next to it or anything, but less than a 5 to 10 minute walk or something like that.
She's just gonna start kind of like going for that general direction, since nobody seems to ever go there hardly as much anymore. Just try to like find like a place to like go and just stay in, basically.
Interesting. It's not really guarded anymore. It's abandoned for the time being. I don't know if you try to go through the main gates or around a different side, but you would at least pass by the wrought iron gates with the head of the former burgomaster still impaled upon it, rotten and the eyes picked out by birds, still with that kind of reddish skin and those strange horn-like protrusions sticking out of the forehead at different angles. Kind of a constant reminder.
She finds herself glaring at the head momentarily as like it continues to like have like this downpour and like her own blood just like seeping into the dirt and everything, and just like kind of just recalls to that moment when Jan had admitted that he was the one like that had like killed like her parents and all that, and she just like finds herself just seeing like the same like blood again, like just back and forth, just like on like her hands and everything, and like she just kind of kicks at like the stick wood with her foot.
Make a sanity check for me, please.
Uh-oh.
Not a saving throw, just a check.
15. I'm sorry, that wasn't supposed to be for the GM.
That was my fault. I was testing something earlier. But yes, 15. What color are Lorelei's eyes? Remind me.
Gray.
So you glance up after kicking and look at the Jan's head, and where the pits had been, you see a pair of eyes that are this storm cloud gray for just the briefest moment, looking down at you before you shake it off and returns to the hollow sockets.
Fuck you. And she just kind of just like goes like running to like maybe like a nearby door or something, or is there a way she could get inside?
I mean, you're agile enough, you can hop the fence without much issue if you're trying to get into the manor where nobody else should be.
Of course.
Yeah, she kind of just like, she almost like kind of struggles and like finds herself just like laying like for the moment like kind of on her knees at some point, her hands kind of muddy, but she just like holds on to her side and just kind of just like staggers up whatever steps and stuff may be there.
You'd probably hit for the servant's entrance, much more private, and away from prying eyes. The building is unlocked. It's almost colder inside than it was outside, but it's dry and it's quiet.
She just kind of like coughs like more blood and just wipes it across her face, not sure if she's getting all of it off, and just finds herself just looking around the halls and just kind of just ends up walking downstairs.
There's a vague familiarity the few times you have visited this place. Everything is still fairly pristine. The night of the uprising, there was a segment of townspeople who almost got to the point of breaking down the gates and were going to like loot the manor and everything after the burgomaster had been killed, but seeing the form of his head and what unnatural state it was in even that night deterred everyone, and everyone just kind of cordoned off the place, and even now nobody dares enter until you do. There's a layer of dust on everything, but it almost looks as though somebody should have been living here yesterday.
At one point, I imagine that she's just kind of like walking down the stairs. She kind of like, I would assume, find herself where she had probably been like taken and kind of overcome to that very place where she was put in the silver manacles.
Mm-hmm. In the basement, in this dungeon-like set of cells. Obviously, the manacles are no longer on the walls, but there's that still familiar smell you're hit with. So moving through the streets, it's continuing to rain. By the time you reach the Frowning's Wrath, you're basically soaked. Acrio, you're realizing you're probably going to have to clean and oil your armor before it begins to rust from the amount of water that would have gotten into it at this point. Bringing Lorelei's body in, Emil quickly clears a space. If you need, the rooms that you've had, she'll assist in bringing her upstairs.
Yeah, it'll... just need a room. She'll be out
like,
for a few hours.
As you help lay her into the bed, Emil's just like, I'll get her out of these wet clothes. You go on now.
You say so. I'll be nearby.
Brushes you
in
out
his
of the
head.
room.
I was kind of hoping you should get hypothermia. Not really. Yeah, he'll leave. Go. Who's here? Asuriel struggling like with the hammer. He'll grab it with one hand and thanks.
You can't tell what's rain and what's sweat.
She's like panting because she got fucking choked out as well. She's like,
got that
aggressive wheezing.
Yeah. You should get a room as well. I'll go over. How much is the room? Person over the counter. Hello.
I'm gonna say it's a half gold per night.
Oh Jesus fucking Christ! Fucking ripping me off.
Did you want a double? Or did you want a single bed?
Oh, just for her. But if you have a bathroom, I'd appreciate that for myself.
Got an outhouse around
Flank
back.
Bathroom.
We're talking once you fucking wake up, you little shit.
3 hours later.
Yeah, you got time to wait, so.
I will take off. I'll go to the outhouse, swap out of the armor, put on some commoner's clothing, which probably isn't fun. Trying to like take off splint in a bathroom.
Oh,
not even like a bathroom, like a porta potty.
It's like those really
size.
narrow bathroom stalls. If you walk in with a backpack, you're fucked.
Yeah. So manages to change out and get in some normal clothing. Goes back in. Get some orange juice.
Well, I mean, orange juice would be pretty expensive. They have to import that.
Quite
There's not
exotic.
a lot of fruit
From like Nephalia, right?
Yeah, on the other side of the world.
or Eastern Kessig.
Yeah. How much is it?
But if you want to, sure. It'd probably be like 3 copper for a glass.
Okay. How many half golds is that?
Not.
You'd be 3/5 of a half gold.
Yeah, 60% of a half gold.
Okay, so if I broke down.
You'd have 2 copper left over after splitting 3 copper out of a half gold.
She has gone up to the room and drying her clothes off the best she can.
Asuriel, the pain of that combat was unlike anything you remember ever experiencing before. The ashen hands on your throat, just like gripping to the point you couldn't breathe, that feeling of trying to draw air but being unable to, was completely foreign. How does she process that?
Yeah.
Kind of rubbing her throat, like the part that's free of the chain. She's a little shaken. That was very strange, and seeing the ghosts was more shocking than the damage they did to her.
There's also the fact that somehow something you did managed to, even if briefly for a tiny portion, part the clouds of Stensia and let radiant light hit the streets, which is not something you've seen since you awoke.
She's gonna look outside the window, try and see if there's like still a little bit of. Might be like some cloud cover that's broken up. See if it wasn't some kind of fluke. But
It's just a consistent drizzle coming down the windows. Dark skies. You see portions of the clouds. It's light. There's no storm, but interesting, like hues of burnt orange almost in the clouds in some places. Purple swirls in some. You're not sure if this is natural or not. It's almost artistic. It's almost beautiful to look at if it wasn't such a depressing day.
She'll stare out the window a while, but it's like kind of telling herself, whatever that was, it wasn't any kind of demon magic. Can't be that. Can't be that. If it wasn't that, then why is it around my neck?
Cillian, how would you go about finding the barracks? Are you just going to wander until you find it? Or are you going to ask around? What's your methodology?
I'll ask, but not any guards or anyone who might ask what I would be doing in that location.
Mm-hmm.
It's just this instinct to talk to people, so I definitely
Sure.
will.
Yeah,
But probably just people shocking or
Make a persuasion check real quick, and can you also roll me a d10?
Sure. That's the build, baby.
Holy fuck!
Even in your haggard, injured state, you put on this very bold face as if you hadn't faced anything today, and it was just a brisk walk in the rain. The first person you come across and ask about, they seem to recognize you, at least from the morning, your vitiligo being an easily identifiable trait. From speaking with the guards and those who are investigating Cormac's death. So they point out the barracks very quickly and chat for a bit.
Oh, I'm glad to talk. And eventually I'll move on, and I'll ask Rygan to find out a good angle, maybe a vantage point, somewhere I can get to keep an eye out. Definitely don't want to break into the barracks. Seems like a bad idea.
I don't know, it seems a lot like fun to me, but take a
Break
look.
into the barracks. yet.
You have to know your limits. Remind me, is barracks just a place for like guard people to stay, or is it like to sleep, to live, to?
So, well, as you get there, it's a very squat stone building for the most part. You would think in this town there are some who maybe stay overnight, but it doesn't look big enough to house like an entire, garrison of the guards. And many of the guards you have seen seem more militia type, like people who have been given some armor or had armor in their family. It's a little bit mishmashed, but they've all been equipped. So there's probably an armory at the barracks, but it doesn't seem like every guard lives there. But there's definitely evidence of like one wall has got like very small barred windows. It's probably the jail cells as well.
Okay, I'll grab. Is it on like a busy street?
It's not far from a busy street, but it's not heavily trafficked.
I'll grab a little mirror from my burglar's pack, and just go across the windows to see if I can spot the captain.
So, yeah, you kind of have the side with the cells is you're fairly close to the exterior walls of Corsiva, and it's starting to get a little muddy through there. This is not paved or anything like that, and in early new moon there hasn't been enough grass to grow, so it's kind of bare earth that in the rain has gotten muddy. So you have to be a little bit quiet not to slosh through. As you're looking through the barred windows with this mirror, you see a few people look like prisoners in basic cells. You can't really see past that enough to determine if there's who would be on watch. But eventually Rygan will kind of whisper in your voice, or his voice in your head. I think I found a spot for the goings in and out. Shouldn't be seen.
Perfect. Lead me. Not for long.
As you're kind of like looping around to this spot, you start to hear somebody shouting. You're not sure if it's like a town crier, somebody announcing news at first. Taking a second to listen in, it sounds like potentially a priest. Somebody shouting about how, the corruption isn't gone, the Yon's influence still lingers, there's wolves within the gates.
Okay, I'll make sure I see him. At least have a visual to who this is.
Mm-hmm. Takes a little while for you to kind of identify the source. A couple blocks down from the actual barracks and prison. But you see this man, he's like bearded. He looks like a Cathar almost. He's got a bit of armor on, tricorn hat. He's been standing in the rain probably all day.
Okay. Stay and watch for like a second, and then I'll move back to my to Rag and spot.
Mm-hmm. So there's kind of a corner where there's these barrels stacked, and you can tuck yourself behind them and get a good view of comings and goings from the barracks without them being able to see you from that angle. And not long after taking up a post, you see Captain Dragomir step outside. There's kind of this covered, not a porch exactly, but an awning across the front, which is blocked from the rain. So he takes that time to light up one of his cigars before he steps out. There's several guards following him.
I'll just keep a watch.
So they're gonna leave.
No, they're gonna leave. Oh, then I'll
yeah,
follow.
It looks like they're maybe going on a patrol or something.
Sure.
A handful of guards. Yeah, they start to just meander through the streets. If you are attempting to follow them unnoticed, you can do a stealth check.
Sure. Well, so it didn't take long for them to step outside, right?
No, it was you 5 to 10 minutes you were waiting there. Even with the physical pain that's still bearing down on you, keep your wits about you more than anything else. To follow them. It does seem like a patrol at first, and probably was, but eventually you see the captain break away from the other guards and go into this kind of like one of those buildings that's got steps going down like below street level on the side.
Okay.
And he goes into a basement type area. He just kind of nods to them, and they continue on as if it's nothing.
Okay. Do you see any markings, or does it just seem like a homestead?
It seems, yeah, probably. Very easily could be a homestead. It's a bunch of buildings kind of in a row, so could be housing. Maybe somebody works out of it, but it's not marked.
Very risky to follow. Could you go around the background and see if there's anything?
Get a little look-see. And for that, I'll have you make a perception check, but at disadvantage. Basically, my idea is if ever you're using Reigen, you can make using your skills, but it'll be a disadvantage because it's not actually you doing it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sure. I just like it roleplay wise.
Yeah, which makes total sense.
Oh.
So you can do like a perception check, yeah.
Cool.
He doesn't seem to notice anything that stands out. There's maybe a few, like a chicken coop or something in the back, but nothing that stands out as being like suspicious.
Sure. I'll look around, try and find a window, and then go down the stairs and feel if it's... Look, wait, I'm gonna look through the keyhole first. Make sure it's not waiting on the other side. Can see some.
Sure. Make an investigation check as you're trying to look through this keyhole. You do notice the first thing, even from this small hole in the wall, there's like an intense smell of tobacco wafting out of there. And getting down, looking through it, it's dimly lit, but you can hear murmurs of people speaking, and kind of angling yourself, you see people sitting at tables. You hear some kind of like muffled jangling sound, and you quickly start to piece together that it looks like people are gambling.
Okay. It's going to have to be risky to enter. I think that's enough. I'll leave for now. I'll go back to the training track.
Okay.
On my way there, I want to really keep an ear out for any spirits, any lingering things. I really want to talk to one of the things, try to talk to one of the things we found.
Sure. Make a religion check as you're walking back through the streets. You do catch glimpses, or more feelings of glimpses. There's nothing visual, but there are like very faint lingering presences throughout the city. Voices, but speaking words that are too muffled to understand. There is certainly a large amount of geists present in this place, but it's almost so jumbled that it's hard to pick out just one.
Sure. A lot of static. Okay. Sure. I'll make my way back.
What does Lorelei think when she wakes up?
Oh, she
Her
wakes up
first
screaming.
thought
She wakes
coming
up screaming.
back.
She wakes up screaming. Like, because in her mind, she doesn't know that combat ended, so kind of she's thinking she's right back where she started, and she just she just sits up and screams.
So Asuriel in the other room, Acrio and probably Cillian downstairs at this point. You both hear these shrieks coming from upstairs. Whether or not you can recognize Lorelei's voice at this point it's hard to tell, but definitely somebody is screaming.
She's gonna run to. Oh wait, she's probably kind of naked.
Yeah, Amel said she was gonna get me out of the wet clothes. I have clothes, right?
Yeah, if you look down, becoming aware of your situation, you see that you're wearing like a very basic cotton nightgown. It doesn't fit you quite right, but most of your clothes never have. And after a second of calming down, you do begin to realize that it is the room you've stayed at periodically in the Frowning's Wrath.
She kind of sits up, like not quite awake yet, and like staggers a bit around the room, like trying to just sort of get her bearings and figure out if she can walk, what kind of pain she's in. And she starts like looking around and noticing that the room's empty. She starts to like hyperventilate because she doesn't know where anyone is.
She was gonna
And where is everyone on that
She was
boat?
putting on like the bare minimum to not be inappropriate and goes to the room.
Yeah, I'll go upstairs too. Just wait in the hallway.
What about Acrio?
Probably just tending to the cart, seeing how the mules are doing, and hears the screams, runs indoors, looks up the stairs, sees everybody else ran up to the room, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he'll be like too many people in one situation's a little weird, so he'll just be like standing 10 to 20 feet away, see how it goes.
Yeah, Cillian, as you wait outside, Asuriel rushes in. The room was not locked. So yeah, you find Lorelei in this, basic nightgown, kind of hyperventilating, in a panic state, standing in the middle of the room.
Lorelei? What's wrong?
One. There's 3 more. Where's everybody else? Where are they?
Mario's downstairs.
Where's Amrita?
She left for
She
some
okay?
reason. Maybe.
What do you mean maybe? Is she okay or not?
She was walking.
Don't worry, she was just birding. Ran off because frustration, I think.
Like, she kind of sits down on the end of the bed, like just deflating. What happened? Did we win?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. You made some of them run off, and some of the guard has to deal with them. But I think everyone's alright.
They're gone for now.
Just stop worrying. We're good. Yeah. This. She fucking cast light from the sky. I'm just really glad I met you people because holy shit, that was great.
Yeah. Just kind of looks confused and looks out the window and looks back at Laura. Anyway, what's wrong? Why did you scream?
Yeah, it was really loud. Everyone heard.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were still fighting. I must have had a bad dream.
Bad what? I like dream stories.
I would rather not talk about it.
Ah. Okay, I respect your privacy.
Just know that it was bad. It's.
Okay. I get those too. Not often, I do.
They're all I get.
Oh,
And then Lorelei kind of realizes that like her arms are a little exposed, and she just like grabs the blanket and like just kind of wraps it to cover her arms.
Cool yourself, girl. Not looking.
It's not indecency I'm worried about. Just don't look at me.
He like turns around and turns his back to her. Starts talking towards the wall.
Because was the nightgown like long sleeve or short sleeve? Because if it's short sleeved, you've been seeing names on her arms.
Yeah, no, it was a long sleeve.
Okay, good. Well, she's still wearing the blanket anyway.
Innistrad is cold for most of the year.
Yeah.
So yeah, like long sleeves are in vogue.
So everyone made it out okay, right? No one's lost a limb, everyone's fine, and Rita's just elsewhere. Okay.
Yeah.
Stop worrying. It just don't. Just sucks worrying.
I
Talking
worry
to the
because
wall.
when I'm not there, people die.
Why do you care about people? People suck.
Not all the time.
My experience.
My experience with people is very limited right now, but most have been good to me.
I mean, sure, you met us, and we're awesome, but I mean, most. They suck.
Not all though.
You'll have to introduce me. Anyway, my theories about what the fuck happened is I have a few, but not many.
I have a theory, but I don't know exactly what that was. But I have a theory.
Barrett, please. I'm in the dark. Please.
Yond used to burn people at the stake,
Oh, I see.
That's
and
oh,
burning people is not a great way to send them off.
Oh, sure.
They tend to get restless. As for the big one, I don't know what that was, but the small ones, they did react when I tried to turn them. They were undead.
Okay. Oh, I think you're right on the money. I talked to the guard for a bit. He seemed serious. Didn't like it. Anyway, it's been happening for a while. Probably since. Yeah. That makes sense. Oh, that makes sense. There was a lot of hate in them. That's what I got. Probably seeking some kind of retribution. I don't blame them, to be honest.
I don't blame them at all. I think we even saw what people get burned. It's
I
not
mean,
good.
there's some ritual type things that let spirits rest, but I don't know them. I think they deserve it though. The infinity of blessed sleep. Yeah.
Everyone deserves rest. I wouldn't wish being undead on my worst enemy.
I think I'd rock it. You know, rotting skin, gambling. They look very attractive.
Don't joke about it.
Sure. Sorry.
There's nothing funny about undeath. It isn't a plague.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Are you afraid of them?
Yes, I am, actually.
Why though? Why be afraid of that?
Do you really want to know?
Sure. Can I tell you why I'm not?
A necromancer killed my entire family and village
Ooh.
and raised them as zombies around me.
Oh, fuck, I'll stop. I'm sorry, Lorelei. That was a bit over the line for me.
so
See
sorry.
now why I don't find it anything to joke about.
Yeah, I get it.
Don't
I
worry.
wanted to give like this big grand life lesson, but I'll skip it for now because then I'll just slowly back out of the room and finger gun and
There's no need to
walk away.
apologize. There's no way you could have known. Just
Finger crossbows.
Oh, sure. You.
so what now? What do we do?
I'm not quite sure yet. I gotta say I'm a bit out of my depth here.
You and me both. I don't even think I have a depth, but I'm out of it.
There's something I wanted to ask, if it's not too rude, but I saw your bracelet. It stitched your arm up.
What do you want me to tell you about it?
I don't know, it's so strange, but there's not really much more to it than that. I was just curious.
I unfortunately don't have any answers for you about it. At least, none that make any sense.
If you wish to speak, you can with me. I have only Acrio otherwise to speak to.
Yeah. What?
And
Heard my name.
likewise, if you need anyone, you know where to find me.
I do. I think I will be leaving this town with Acrio in the near future, though. I need to go to Thraben for answers.
You too, huh?
What are the answers you seek?
Oh, I don't have any. I can't go that way.
Why is that?
The way Amrita's going. And she doesn't want me to go with her. So I'm stuck here when she goes.
Maybe you can come with us then.
I'd like that. If you'd let me.
Well, it's more up to Acrio than me, but I'd welcome you on the trip.
Slowly French's hammer. Sorry.
Did anyone else?
The heretic.
Did anyone else see the bracelet? Was it just you?
Just me. I tried to ask Amrita about it, but she was gone before I could speak.
She has about as many answers about it as I do.
Alright. Well, strange bracelets aside. Are you hungry?
Fuck yes, I'm hungry. New food.
I've walked downstairs to Acrio. And I'll be like, God damn, that Lorelei girl has had some shit luck in her life. She just told me something. It's fucking intense, dude.
Well, when you wake up screaming, usually
Sure. Yeah, that was her.
you got something
Yes.
going on. Yeah.
Confirming. She told me her entire family was killed by this necromancer, right? And then they were all like turned around her. It's fucked, dude. It's fucked.
That's rough, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. Very rough. Anyway, I shouldn't just don't mention it to her because I think she'll flip. I think she'll implode. It's kind of sad for her. Trust me.
I watched the two of them walking down the stairs up behind him as he's still talking about this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, oblivious. Just keeps on talking.
Is Lorelei
was
coming downstairs in the?
Was my cloak
nightgown?
around?
Yeah, your cloak would have been there.
Yeah, just put the
as
cloak
long as
over
the-
it.
Sure, sure.
Soaking wet cloak over your newly dried clothing.
It's been
Ah.
3. It's been 3 hours. It's
damp.
still damp, but it's not soaking wet anymore.
I'm used to it.
Anyway, yeah, she got like all upset when I mentioned death. She was like, "Oh no, don't."
Yeah, anyway, I'm gonna go over here while you guys
Oh, don't let me interrupt whatever you're talking about.
What?
I was talking about you.
I noticed.
About how you were just such a pleasant, lovely, strange person.
Exactly. That.
Rygan's voice next to you be like smooth.
Drink on me?
Oh,
Anyway,
Lorelei just goes and sits in a booth.
Oh,
Slowly sinks down the chair.
We don't sit in booths. We sit at the counter where we can talk to people.
Why would I do that?
Because there's people to talk to. Like that guy over there, and that person over there. And that guy
Guys.
punching the other guy in the face.
The first guy's like, "Don't talk to me."
Don't talk to me or my son ever again.
Okay, sometimes there's people to talk to, but if you sit in the corner, you're just being every other Stensian resident.
Well, I'm not from Stensia, so how would
Well,
I
you
be?
certainly act like you live here.
for the moment, I do. Pardon me for wanting a bit of privacy after we all nearly died.
Sometimes you gotta talk to people about how you almost fucking died from getting
Fine, I'll sit at the
strangled by a smoke
bloody
monster.
counter.
Thank you. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Not at all, but eventually you might. It's the little bits of positivity that make the piles of shit a little better.
Guess he's got a point.
Acrio, by the way, at this point looks like a deflated version of himself. He's much more lean without his armor. It's like he's far slimmer. Like he's got a good amount of strength to him, but it's lean muscle, and he's without the armor, it's like the stick figure version of Acrio.
What's everyone drinking? It's on me because I fucked up just a second ago.
All right, you get the drinks. I'll get the food.
Sounds like a deal.
Actually, I'm slowly running out of money. We'll see how much this costs.
You
I
don't
might
have
have
any money,
to
I have some.
I might have to do a couple jobs around town.
If you go for like a very basic lunch, probably going to be mostly there's like chicken and sausages, a lot of like flat breads, like oats are hard to come by and stuff, so what they don't make a lot of bread, but there's a decent amount of flat breads, wheat beers, and whiskey, that sort of thing. The Frowning's Wrath also does serve sarsaparilla.
What's that?
I have no idea what that is.
I don't know what sarsaparilla is. I just know it's some
Sarsaparilla
Western shit.
is the original root beer.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
before root
that.
beer became, so sugarized, sarsaparilla was the precursor to root beer.
It's granddaddy's root beer.
I always
And it
thought
is
was
really
birch.
good. Like if
I
you can
always
get
thought it
good
was birch
sarsaparilla.
beer.
So yeah, chickens, sausages and that sort of thing. Obviously you can get a hunk of goat's cheese. If you they don't really, most of the time it's hard to find sandwiches, but flatbreads, you can make a wrap if you want.
Nice.
Basic, if you go basic, it's gonna run about a half gold per person for the meal, and probably 2 copper per drink.
I'll try all the drinks.
And you guys would have enough time in the afternoon to take a short rest, because you don't actually have to sleep during a short rest. Most people do, traditionally you would do that at night because you need a number of hours, but during the day, if you're just chilling, you can effectively regain your hit points and roll hit die and stuff like that.
I would like to do that. I am made of paper right now.
I mean, you're always made of paper. You're just made of wet, soggy paper now.
Yeah, I'm wet paper now.
I will hand over my last 2 gold pieces.
Acrio goes completely broke.
Yeah, it's helping.
What? This is your first day back in civilization? You're just like, look at it rain.
Yeah, and I'm like looking at the empty coin purse where that like the gold that someone gave him from his training, and like,
Oh no.
it's like that gold wasn't even for like buying stuff. It was like, if you ever need to use your channel divinity.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Because you are in an urban environment, levels of supply, assuming they're below 3, they don't. It can't cancels out, so you don't have to worry about it. Because
they don't apply here. Okay, good.
Yeah,
good,
if you're in an urban setting, you have more access to all the things you need. So it's just regular healing rolls, unless you have like higher levels and advanced supplies. But
Got my channel divinity back.
it's once you go out into the natural world where things are more dangerous that you start to rely on your supplies more.
During this half-dinner thingy, I'll be like, so, you're not hearing this, Acrio? I sort of shadowed Dragomir for a while. Didn't see anything very suspicious. I'm sure he's doing illegal things, but not anything pertaining to what we're doing for right now and investigate fully because I felt he has like this house underground with like one entrance point. So I was gonna get fucked if I try to follow him in there. Not literally, that would have been way more fun. Anyway, he seems to be gambling or something, backing off on duty. Not anything to write home about yet.
If regard does that just by themselves a bit of fun, doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
Have
I'm
you
not
tried
worried.
following him at night?
That's for sure what I'm trying next. But also, I really like to sleep.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Sure,
I
actually.
Okay.
Wait, I did know this guy once. He was like, I'm pretty sure he was always awake. I've never seen him sleeping. Weird guy, real big eyes. Didn't like him. Creeped me out.
Why not? Why don't you just go talk to your Vistani friends, see what they say? And if nothing else, there's nothing else. No leads, so
You don't want to come? Trust me, it's fun. They're fun people.
I'll come
I don't
along.
know if under church I'm allowed to have that kind of fun, but sure, I'll come along.
Yeah, that's the spirit. Lorelei, I cop for being a dick.
That's your definition of it? Sure.
Well, it wasn't really a choice for her to come along. She has to.
And
It's
why's
like-
that?
It's like all or nothing. It's like there are two of us staying behind. I'm sure that's fine, but like,
Well, technically Amrita would be staying behind because she's not here right now.
well, she might be dead. We don't know. She's just
Wait, what?
upped and
Acrio,
left.
no!
I don't know where she went.
She's still walking.
Oh, yeah. She disappeared after the fight. I don't know where she went. So
One things for starting, she wasn't bleeding out because
yeah,
none of us were really bleeding. So she's good.
she probably has a very bad lung
the
infection.
interior.
The in bit.
Yeah, that's
Um,
where the blood's supposed to be.
I was just about to make that joke.
Acrio, you would know at this point, after you've all had a period of time to recuperate, the sun's starting to go down, the rain has let up, and whether or not you are going to go through with it is up to you, but Dragomir had asked for a report come nightfall, so that's just a reminder.
I distinctly remember that I said, I'll give you a report when I please.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a Cathar, and he's a guard.
Sure.
So you're just like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, I didn't say
That's fine,
fuck
you don't
that
have to,
guy.
I'm just
I was
saying.
very polite about it.
You are
Fine,
perfectly
I'll go
fine to
give him
skip
a
the meeting.
Fucking report.
Cillian can pretty easily lead you to the barracks through the streets of Corsiva. I'll have you guys give me one more D10 as you wander.
Someone else.
Why?
Yeah, on the way, I'll make sure to point out his house. Just if it's on the way.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know if it's his house or if
No,
it's
sure. The
just-
house I saw him at. Sure.
Yeah,
Well, it's 3.
Oh.
it's the
definitely.
same thing
Yeah,
regardless.
it's the same.
It's gonna be that no matter what it is.
It's extra now.
And the
So on your way-
46 HP.
On your way to the barracks, as evening is beginning to settle, people are starting to either head to the taverns or turn in for the evening dinner with their families, that sort of thing. You start to hear a little bit of murmuring, just a pair of hunters who had come in from the Sumberwald, just complaining that game is sparse in the woods these days. They seem to be cursing wolves, and you don't know exactly what type of wolves they're talking about. But there's just they haven't had a good kill in a while. and that's particularly harsh this time of year because coming out of the hunter's moon,
winter.
yeah, there's no crops yet. People on the last of their stores.
Okay, so for sure, there's a fuck ton of werewolves here. That's just a certainty. Are we thinking it was werewolves for?
Enough wolves to be thinning out the population of wild animals around here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Lorelei. You and Red Cloak see anything while you were meeting with the blacksmith and who's... Do I know about his mother?
I think we caught everyone up that we'd seen tracks outside.
Okay.
2-legged tracks, and we at least 3. Not sure how many. Not sure where they were going.
So
I'm
got
thinking
at least
it probably
3
was.
werewolves.
3 werewolves seems like enough to thin out game this time of year.
Yeah, considering they don't really... Do they eat? I don't know about werewolves.
I'm almost certain they do.
Well, I know they
I still
eat,
don't
but
know
do they
anything
like
about
just eat, or do they like rip stuff apart just because they find it
Acrio,
entertaining?
you can make a nature check.
Yeah,
Could Asuriel do the same?
nature. I'm not.
Asuriel can make one with disadvantage.
7.
Yeah, alright.
This is somewhat memory based.
Did I give myself? Did I forget to get guidance? No, I don't. I do have guidance.
If you would like to apply some guidance, you are able to do so.
It doesn't.
Yeah, Acrio, you're not entirely sure. The focus of your studies was more on combating werewolves and various ways to kill them, best applications of silver, that sort of thing. Their ecology wasn't exactly top of the priority list. Asuriel, you kind of has this instinctual feeling that while werewolves do prey on humans, it's not exclusive. They are savage in a predatorial sense, where vampires specifically enjoy human blood for all of their reasons. Werewolves just enjoy meat. They need it to survive, obviously, and they are predators, but they don't have to eat humans only.
So
And-
sort of like
Actually, yeah, that's probably all you would know.
Werewolves could literally fuck off into the woods and not bother humans.
she's gonna say like this sort of monotone voice. Werewolves prey on everything. They'll eat anything, not just humans.
They're tied
Okay.
to the lunar cycle, yes?
What?
Full moon means werewolf.
Believe so.
How long is there a full moon in the sky? Circa everyone's night.
Well, he looks up at
did
the
we get a
pure
peep
gray
at
sky.
Buckthorn's calendar? Because he had like a calendar on him, didn't he?
So he had 1 X marked, which was the prior night. That was all he had, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the only thing. It could just be the start.
Alright.
But yeah, Acrio, if you wanted to do a religion check, you could determine the transformation cycle a little more easily, I think. And you should have a skill modifier deal. You can just click guidance, check mark that, and then roll. It'll roll with it.
No, I have blessing modifier, bloody. Oh no, I see it. Global skill modifier.
Wow, so
Oh fuck. Okay.
You paid attention in that seminar.
That was, yeah.
Those are the nights
Very
you lock
much.
up the forge.
So for about 3 to 4 nights, typically, the moon is full enough that it draws out this transformation from werewolves.
When was that last?
You would probably know that last night was the first night of the full moon.
And that's when the guy died?
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got 2 or 3 more nights. See if we find anybody leaving town. Because they're not going to stay in town while this stuff goes down. We gotta be on the watch.
I mean, some of them did. They killed a guy in town.
Yeah, someone must have done.
How do we... Okay, let's go talk to these Vistani, give the update, and then we'll
Sure.
figure out what we're doing for...
I predict we're not getting much sleep tonight.
Yeah, probably
Fortunate.
Okay. Let's go to Dracomir. Tell him at least something.
The rest of you reach the barracks. There are torches on the walls, kind of under that awning. The rain has dissipated by now. Place is fairly lit up. As I said, it's kind of a very low, wide building, mostly stone, very reinforced. Near the, this would be the southern-ish, kind of southeastern wall of Korsava. There are several guards standing outside, and the doors are actually completely open under this awning.
I'll just walk up to one of them. We're looking for Captain Dragomir. He's expecting us.
Oh yeah, he's back. He'll be expecting you.
Sure.
Hope he would
We'll
be.
walk up.
I've got things to do. He's a unfortunately pushy man. Alright, let's go. In we go. Shove everybody in. Push them through the door.
Mm-hmm.
The captain is in a fairly large office, desk with papers scattered about it. He's not smoking, which is a strange condition for him, but he's got his helmet laid to the side,
Labor laws.
hair that's pulled back into a kind of a loose ponytail. Just looks up. All right, so what have you found?
Okay. Great news. You don't have 1 werewolf, you have 3. At
At
least. Yeah, we'll start with the bad news first. 3 werewolves, approximately,
You've
outside
got
of town.
outside of town.
Yeah, near town.
They're not in town.
To what we know of, no.
It's not
Still
good in
begs
any
the
case.
question why werewolves are so close to Korsava.
That's also something to look into on the side.
Okay.
I want to focus on Cormac.
Yeah, doesn't matter too much. Anyway, besides that, we got about 3 nights to be looking at who's entering and who's exiting town, because that's probably when they're going to be turning.
He just leans back in his chair. You seem to be leaning hard onto this werewolf angle.
Yeah.
What evidence do we really have of that? I mean, sure, there might be some outside the walls. Let's say that's even related.
Okay. I want you to think about it from my perspective. I can't leave until I've exhausted every little lead. Because if it's a dog, I don't care. It's not my job. Sorry to be blunt about it, but I have places to be. I need to exhaust all these little leads about possible werewolf sightings until they're gone. Once those leads are gone, I'm gone. I'll leave. It doesn't matter. But while there's still a chance of werewolves being inside Korsava, it's my business.
You're asking for 3 nights. 3 nights before I close this case.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
And I need your guards to be getting lists of names of people who are moving out and into the city. if you don't
Fine.
already have that.
Whether or not it's related to Cormac, we'll keep an eye out. We don't want wolves inside the gates.
Because if people are inside the gates, they're either really doing a great job of hiding indoors, or they're leaving town before they turn.
We all heard what happened to Ava Brook. Don't want another one of those on our hands.
Avabrook's the town that got pummeled by werewolves, right?
An horde.
Jake, can I do my message thing without triggering noticing?
Sure.
Okay. Then Acrio, you hear in your ear through this very gnarly female ghostly voice, while I'm looking at you, are we keeping information from him?
Can I respond to that?
You can, but I'm curious if Acrio would know. Make either an Arcana or Religion check.
Religion, because I'm not good at anything else. I'm not good at religion either.
I mean, it feels like a Geist speaking to you. So however you would react or respond to that is really up to your discretion, because this hasn't really happened before.
Sure.
I'm gonna take the guy staring at me as a possible sign that they had something to do with it, and he'll shrug. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll
As
shrug.
far as you see, Acrio just shrugs.
Yeah, that's most of it. We'll need a few nights. Keep you posted.
Honestly, there's not really a way I can say no, is there? Do what you're gonna do, but be quick about it if you can.
I give 2 love taps on his desk. We will. Don't worry. We're sure they come through, and you'll close this case in no time. Bye.
Acrio will tip his hat and he'll be like, "You have a wonderful, peaceful night, Captain."
Yeah, he just kind of grunts as you leave. Is the Suriel had something to say to him, or was she-
Well,
No,
he
she was
grunted like
gonna-
werewolf. Time to kill him. Loaded his shotgun.
Accuse!
No, she wanted to ask about Acrio about what happened, and what do you mean by Avabrook? What's up with that?
What's up with what?
Avabrook.
Avabrook?
Yes.
I don't know too much about it. I just know there was a town there, a city. It was a city. And now there isn't. And it's mostly because of werewolves.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, not a pretty sight. I think they still use it as their home. I'm not too sure. The whole
Just
thing's
not
a
go
big
there.
mess. Yeah, you just don't go there. There are
We're outside.
paths.
We're outside now, right?
What?
Yeah. And also,
Okay.
for sure, Cillian would know because you passed through that region, and Acrio probably would have heard as well. People have started taking to calling the city Hollowhinge, because it's just, it's the husk of a city now. And yeah, the rumors are that the werewolves are still operating out of it somewhat.
Operating out of it. What are they, a fucking organized militia now?
It does sound kind of
No.
cool.
Mayhaps.
An abandoned town. Love to explore it. It wasn't overrun by lycanthropic guests.
Well,
Anyway, we're not telling him there's definitely werewolves inside the walls.
I mean, I'm not one for omitting things from people that we don't trust, but I guess a little bit of tact could help in that situation.
I agree.
Well, yeah, until
Take the time.
we have a concrete answer, there's really there's going to be nothing gained from throwing every lead we have at him.
Sure.
Best not to muddy the waters.
I
Best to keep it straightforward.
Threw enough at him to buy us another 3 days
Yeah.
until he tells us to fuck off. So
Tactful talking. I like it. Great job. Anyway,
I
for
feel like
my
there's a hint
people.
of sarcasm in there, but
I'm never sarcastic. I know we can get in.
Amrita, how has she been occupying her time in the Burgomaster's estate? Does she leave, or does she have more to do?
Would there be any chance of her like to maybe gain a short rest from this? Since like I don't know how long the others have been away doing their things, but for her to just kind of like rest at all or find anything to kind of patch up some stuff on her body.
Yeah. So they took a short rest also. So yes, you do have time to do that. I was just curious if you were doing anything else to make use of your time there.
Yeah. Oh man, my fucking head hurts. That's not Amrita. That's literally me. I'm sorry.
Well, it's probably Amrita also.
But yeah. Anyways,
Blending.
she's kind of just. I just imagine she just. I don't know why she just sits there and just kind of like contemplates. Probably has her eyes closed momentarily, not actually like sleeping, but just kind of like inhaling very deeply, and she kind of just like thinks back to her adoptive parents and her father and everything, and in a sense she just kind of sighs quietly to herself as she sits against the wall and is just like, I wish there was a sign from either of you. I wish I could speak to you, Father. But even if I did, you'd probably think I was a failure. I'm sorry I failed you. And she just kind of, even though no response really happens, obviously, she's just talking to herself, muttering these things. She kind of staggers up on her feet and looks around this room that she was in formerly at one point in time, but she recalls and remembers the room next to hers and when she had heard like someone crying, and it leaves her a little curious, and she kind of like goes out and pokes her head around and goes to investigate that room.
It is also unlocked, completely empty, still and dark, in this subterranean area underneath the manor. If you would like, you could give me a perception check with advantage.
Okay.
Bon Piage.
You pick up the scent, though it's very faint. Definitely human. Smells younger, which is, strange, but your senses are able to pick up things most, normal humans couldn't. There's something in this room that is still emitting this, and as you kind of search, you find a pair of manacles on the wall, also silvered, and in them is caught like a small piece of cloth that has been torn. There's a bit of blood on it.
She will kind of like grab the cloth. Does it look like it has like any particular color or some kind of like, say, family symbol that could be on it?
It's like a pale ivory, there's no symbols, but it's a lacy, it's like a fancier lacy, you know, like maybe the cuff of a shirt would make the most sense given the placing of the manacles.
Looks like that bastard kept somebody else down here.
You have to handle it very carefully, almost instinctually, trying to avoid touching the silver itself.
Yeah, she does that, and does it look like there might have been any paperwork or anything that y'all would have kept down here or anything of that nature? And if not, she'll investigate further.
I was going to say not in this room, but there may be something elsewhere.
Yeah, after looking over the cloth and everything, she'll kind of put it away, like in her bag for later to see if that, I don't know, just has curiosity on her mind, and she kind of cautiously and like quietly continues to move through this place and begins to make her way upstairs.
You can make an investigation check, please.
16.
As I said, this whole place seems as though somebody should be living here currently. It's not so clean and tidy that it's museum-like. There's evidence of people having moved around, but everything's got that layer of dust, and your boots cause tracks to form behind you on the hardwood floors. Eventually you find yourself in the burgomaster's study, and you've almost immediately notice, because even without any light, just a little bit coming in through the drawn shades, still raining outside, your eyes are pristine enough, even in these dim conditions, to pick up everything. And you happen to notice in the fireplace, just completely burned out at this point, and has been for some time, there are shards of corners of papers that have been burned.
She kind of just like kind of edges over and just kind of begins to move her fingers through the shard remains.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing legible at this point. You can't roll me a d10, please.
Three.
So you eventually kind of observing the shelves. There are a great many books, various titles and subjects, all of which are kind of above, not your understanding, but your interest, I suppose. Until you come across a thin tome, leather bound, but obviously something that's been like kind of mass produced. And unlike anything else in the study or the estate really at all, you see in the small corner on the binding, imprinted in gold leaf, there is the symbol of Avacyn, which is highly unusual. You look at the title, along the spine, it just says werewolves.
She opens the book.
As you remove it from the shelf, it is well worn. The dark brown leather is soft to the touch, and leafed in gold on the cover is that same title, but the subtitle reads Recollections of a Trusted Priest and Experiences in the Ulvenwald. And as you kind of leaf through it, it seems to be a memoir of sorts of a priest hard to determine at a cursory glance how long ago, but who was stationed in Trusted, and at the time seems to be, at least in the early stages of exploration into Kessig and the Overwood Forest. A lot of interviews and sightings, people who have claimed to have experienced werewolves.
Would she know, or would she have ever heard about any of these locations before? Because I imagine she's, again, doesn't really know a whole lot about others that are of that nature.
I mean, you would definitely know the Ulvenwald is most of Kessig. Kessig as a parish is basically the humans' province as they've sort of settled in the Ulvenwald Forest. Trusted is a, you would probably know, is a smallish town in Gavany that's right on the border of the forest, or at least was. It's kind of been, harvested and deforested back away, so it doesn't quite sit exactly on the edge anymore. But it's one of the nearest cities to the forest without actually being part of the province.
Does it look like Jan ever wrote in this book at one point?
Make another investigation check. You don't find writing, but you find certain, like pencil marks of certain passages that are kind of like marked, a few underlined words, that sort of thing. It does seem as though somebody, whether it was Jan or not, but the indication is fairly strong, somebody had been researching this. And a lot of the bulk of the notations in it are anytime witnesses or the priest himself had made notes about wards, potential like remedies or cures or ways to possibly rid oneself of the curse of the werewolf.
After kind of examining this book, she kind of just closes it and also goes ahead and puts that in her bag because she's curious. Maybe there's another way too. I don't know. She kind of mumbles that to herself, and then she, after a while, finally just decides to quietly move out of the mansion and kind of return to the streets unnoticed, if possible.
Are you intending to go the rest of the night unnoticed, or are you trying to regroup eventually?
She's gonna try to just go, just get back to the tavern and everything, and not really regroup with the others right now.
Okay. Go ahead and make a stealth check. And you can also give me a D10.
21 on the stealth, and D10, a 3 again.
So, as you're moving through the streets, it's fairly late, and it's interesting because, your skills are easily such that you don't have to be noticed at all. But as you're listening to a group of hunters that are returning from outside of the walls, kind of complaining about there's no game, it's very sparse season, and cursing the wolves, you happen to catch sight of the rest of the group as they are passing a block down on another street, and you're able to skirt around them pretty easily.
And she does.
Me.
Avoiding that eyeball conversation, Yeah, she'll kind of just get inside the tavern and kind of just look around to see who might be in there or at the bar already.
Emel is behind the bar, and Anne is kind of waiting tables. People are starting to come in after their daily work. A lot of people are wet, from a rainy day. Your senses are overwhelmed almost with the stink of human.
Is it afternoon or evening time?
This would be well into the evening. Sun's
Evening,
gone down.
alright.
It's dark, yeah.
Okay. Evening. I'm just gonna pay for another night in the inn. And if you got any some liquor, that would be nice.
Emil just kind of nods, reaching behind the bar, just kind of like moving her finger along the line of liquors until you say to stop at the one you would like. And she says, "Didn't see you with the rest of them earlier on."
No, I don't. Just kind of like rubs like in between like her eyes. It's like some stuff happened and I got a little bit woozy, not gonna lie.
But you're all right.
Could be worse, I guess, but
She'll grab down a bottle of whiskey. "This is good for what ails you." Starts pouring you a double.
How much I owe you?
Just a half gold.
Just a half gold.
It is a very stout whiskey with like a smoky aftertaste to it.
Ooh.
Which is, it's good, but at the same time, your senses, you're overwhelmed with that smoke that had invaded your lungs earlier on in the day, which is unpleasant.
If any of them come by, I'm gonna drink this quickly and go up to bed. I went to go get some patches.
You hungry?
Bleeding earlier.
I can make you plates, send it up to the room.
Yeah, sure. She's gonna just like raise her hand, like waves her off. That's fine. I'm gonna just, yeah.
The rest of you haven't seen Amrita all day, leaving the barracks. I assume you're heading outside of the walls of the city?
Yes.
On the way, I'm telling long stories about Vistani life. We're like very proud. A lot of proudness in it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we'll go there till we reach it.
The guards don't give you any trouble as you exit. And not far off, toward the kind of the southwest, you can see the wagons, some brightly colored tents set up, many lanterns, some of which have like different colored glass, kind of casting colorful shadows across this encampment they have near the edge of the Summerwald.
Cillian is kind of getting more nervous and fidgety as he approaches, sort of slowly, almost waiting for someone to go first and realizing he probably should be the one.
All up to you, buddy.
Sure. Please don't do that. Mistrusting of Vistani. It's really a bad luck here. Just treat them like people, okay?
Cool. Let's keep going.
I'm sure you don't, but people can be mean. And I'll walk up.
Yeah, the closer you get, you start to hear more music, stringed instruments, primarily some drums, a lot of chatter, people talking, kind of that smell of meat being cooked over a fireplace.
Good evening. Good evening. Just sort of walk up.
You're quickly approached by a rather tall, slender man. Complexion similar to yours, although he doesn't have vitiligo. He's got kind of a smirk, goatee, and a mustache that has been waxed up into like a curl. Wearing this kind of leathers, fancier but well worn, older looking, that have been kind of like dyed a maroon, kind of like colored. And just like opens his arms. Ah, my friends! Welcome!
Good evening. Thank you very much. My name is Cillian Vistani. It's so wonderful to meet some family.
Andre, welcome, cousin.
Of course. Enter.
Isn't that the
I'm
guy
very
who
sad
stole
my
the
name's
Hey, this one I recognize. Pointing at Lorelei.
You do?
We've killed things together. Yes?
You have?
Indeed,
Wow.
we did.
Good times.
Indeed.
Very good.
What brings you all to this place tonight?
Well,
A bit of music, entertainment, or
always.
unfortunate business?
I mean, there's some business to discuss, but later. At least 15 minutes of fun, right?
Absolutely, as always.
Not asking any of you. Alright, meet some people. Talk. They're all wonderful. And I'll go up to a random person and start, like, sparking up
Oh, he's
conversation.
just abandoned us.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Immediately.
Abandon the introverts at the party. How dare you?
Okay. I'm gonna get you
It's a-
back, you little shit.
It's a party. Who do you talk to at the party?
I'm gonna talk to anyone. I'm here to talk about fucking people getting murdered, not have a party.
Lorelei's just gonna go to whoever's playing music and just kind of sit there and listen in.
Mm-hmm.
Asuriel's following Lorelei for now. Acrio looks upset.
I'm not upset. I'm upset out of character.
Yeah, Tristan's mad. Acrio's not.
This is the individual you find playing a rather, like, he's not a very big man, but it's even a small looking fiddle, hair covered with a bandana, also very long, wide mustache, no goatee, very rough, weathered looking face with a jerkin on.
Jerking on.
He's just,
nuts.
yeah. He's
Oh,
not as
you
intense
explode.
in this moment, but yeah, he's.
Why does he
he's
remind me
fiddling
of
along,
my
Nods to
father?
you.
That's like your uncle.
That's kind of actually.
It's just my dad in D&D, guys.
Oh my god, it does look like your dad. Yeah, you have
It
pictures
does.
of him. Oh my god.
It's not like your dad at all. There's no
What?
longer hair, obviously.
And
No,
he's
the
grinning
mustache.
Or a
broadly
mustache.
underneath his mustache, nodding to you as you come to listen. He livens up the tune just a little bit.
Lorelei's like completely like almost eyes glazed over, just like a little enthralled in the music. It's a little odd.
If there's anyone else dancing, Asuriel might start as well.
There are a few people, especially once he livens up the tune. A few people decide, oh, this is a good time to, around the campfire.
As Asuriel gets up, Lorelei like catches her arm, like, where are you going?
They're dancing, and I don't know.
I'm not saying you can't. I just seem to bolt a little bit. I didn't want us to split up. Where are you going?
She's just pointing to the people dancing just over there.
Oh right. Yeah, you go do that.
There's one woman in particular who kind of leads it. She also has a bandana. Over her skirt, there is like this. It's like a half skirt made of not coins exactly, but like small bits of metal in a pattern that jangle when she moves. You also see her almost doing this performance with a deck of cards that she like is able to, move through the air, almost in control of them, unnaturally, it would seem, almost magically. But to a trained observer, it's just skill. She has that much control and practice over it, but it is enthralling.
Oh, yes, she's a witch. But
Shirley is looking.
Lorelei's looking.
Asuriel is realizing things about herself that she had forgotten.
Oh wow!
Oh, I like girls. So anyway,
Started blasting.
No, she is more looking at the cards rather than the lady.
I'll walk up to just a random young man. Oh, just how long have you guys been there? Planning to stay for longer?
If we can, there's these people owe us a little bit, so we
I
set
do.
up shop. Andre in trusted us that we'll be fine here for a little while.
Sure.
Certain
Haven't
deals
you
were
fixed it
made,
yet?
so
Isn't the road calling again?
we'll be soon, I'm sure.
Of course. Would you like to
But
dance?
we spent absolutely. We spent a lot of time on the road during the Hunter's Moon. It took a toll. We lost
Sure.
several people.
Oh, roads have gone bad. Sorry.
But yeah, as he's talking, he will go into this like
Mhm.
dance, that I'm sure you can mirror.
Oh,
Mid
yeah.
conversation
He does like the
flamenco.
exact. Oh yeah,
Mhm.
we're just having
my
a normal
parents
conversation.
died the other day.
The Australian way. And I'll take him into a dance. Yeah. Although I like
What
motioning.
exactly? Sorry, go.
Although I like motioning to to all the other people. Is Asuriel dancing? Because then he won't be to Asuriel. But to Acrio and Lorelei, to like, join in. Come on, have fun.
Lorelei doesn't know what to do with her everything. She's just kind of just scratching the back of her hand, looking a little lost.
It is a
Just like a kid at a candy shop. She has no idea what's going on, but it's fun.
it's a very dark night. There's no stars in the sky. Obviously, the moon is blacked out. The points of light are these lanterns and small strings of firelight. There's like a lot of those paper lanterns hanging on strings, that sort of thing. So it's almost as though the night sky has come down to meet you.
Really feels at home.
While they're all doing that, Acrio will not be in the immediate vicinity. He'll be kind of off outside the vicinity,
Mhm.
kind of looking for stray people, stray wandering shadows in the night.
You would probably find, maybe someone coming back from drawing water at a stream or something like that.
Yeah, not Vistani. Looking for specifically Stensian dressed folks.
I mean, there are some people within the group who have a Stensian vibe to them, but they don't necessarily seem like outsiders either. Like, probably people they've picked up along their travels, people who have left the cities to join this encampment.
Anyone suspicious, someone gathering water or carrying something somewhere isn't exactly. It's
Roll for
weird
suspicion.
Ow, fuck. I'm
Like,
sorry.
I'm not entirely sure what that would be. Perception, I guess?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or
Somebody-
insight. Let's go with insight. Insight would be good.
Sure.
Yeah.
You get a lot of side eyes, a lot of smiles and smirks in your direction, which is very uncomfortable for Stensians. It's very weird. These people are far too friendly. You don't get the impression anyone has any direct malicious intent.
I don't know. Acrio's happy for Stensians, but compared to the
Like for
Steins-
everyone else, the bar's way lower.
Yeah. It's like he's a weirdly happy Stensian, but he's still really fucking not
Vistani.
not Vistani.
Kind of seeing Acrio like on his own, Lorelei sort of like sidles out of the dancing mess because she doesn't know what to do, and she just goes and like stands nearer to him. See anything?
Hear anything?
It's hard to concentrate on anything here.
Yeah, don't quite know why they're here now that everybody's dancing and cheering.
Not a dancer?
Sentients don't really dance.
Indians dance at weddings. That's like literally the only time. And maybe christening of children. But even that's questionable.
Maybe like a cheer at the end of Hunter's Moon. Like a woo! We're not dead.
Little applause at birthdays.
It's actually more the end of the harvest moon when Stinzians almost rejoice the most because that is the season. Vampires take their largest stock. They are the most active during the harvest season. So
when you're still around, you're like, "Yay! I didn't get taken away."
Pretty much.
I lived through the purge.
Yeah. I don't want to be a stick in the mud. They're free to be happy, but dancing and singing isn't my alley.
Not agree more. The music's nice though.
In the background, Cillian pulls Asuriel into a dance.
She goes along with it. No idea what's going on, but it's fun.
You don't have
Make
to.
Confused screaming.
Make a performance check, Asuriel.
You don't have to remember rhythm. You just have to feel it.
Have to feel it in your gonads.
Right.
You feel it, but you really don't know what you're doing. But you follow along fairly well. It's not a complex dance, there's not a lot of moves to it, so after a few circuits, it's easy enough to pick up. It feels nice.
She looks happy. She looks a lot happier than she has been for the past few days. This is probably the first time any of them see her smiling, really.
Yay, Cillian's really happy to see that. It's all lips. Come on. Trying to half teach her, half enjoying the moment.
Someone starts twerking. Don't right?
No.
The Stensians work. Eventually, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna make fun of the Stensian twerk now. You continue.
Okay, eventually I'll settle up to Andrew again. Oh, I've really missed this. I haven't travelled with Vistani for a while.
Oh, that is unfortunate. Why is that?
Hard to explain. Had a sort of falling out. That's the leave.
Can't imagine why we are very welcoming people. Had to get on our backside, or bad side.
Sure is. Just direct family stuff, you know.
But welcome home, cousin.
Thank you very much. It feels good to be back. You as well. Now, to some more of the business side. Probably I won't take up much of your time, but if you have some questions that we're going to ask. We've been investigating a murder. During the course of that. Some really interesting stuff has come out of it. What I really want to know is, do you have someone here who can call spirits? No, it's a rare thing, but worth a
Seems as though the cities are always teeming with murders. That is their way, is it not?
Sure, but this particular one has really driven a nail to my business. Speaking of that, any interest in a painting? Free of charge. You can just have it. It's just really heavy to lug around all the time. Go towards dropped it off.
My grandmama might be able to assist you with the spiritual issue. But yes, I would like to take a look at this painting. My
Sure. It
walls are
sucks.
getting a bit bland, and everyone else can see there's so many like embroideries and bright colors and everything. It's hard to describe as bland in any capacity.
Yeah. It's like some spots have carpets over the carpets, and there's like embroideries on top of the embroideries.
Mhm.
Like, we'll find a place for it.
Do you
I'll
wanna-
show it to you.
I was gonna say, do you want to describe this painting?
Sure. Okay. I'm picturing sort of this imagining of what the angel's residence would look like. This sort of radiant image of scenery, mostly just landscape, with very subtly, only if you like look at it really far, is like the symbol of Avacyn sort of in like rivers, and just this one line, the symbol of Avacyn goes through it.
Very nice. So a lot of the angels, especially Avacyn's flight, as well as Bruna's, actually roost in Thraben. So it would probably incorporate the Lake of Herons, which is this, very massive, expansive lake with waterfalls feeding it and everything like that. So and it's on kind of this hilltop, mesa sort of. So yeah, it kind of everything tapers down from that, and the scene is interesting because it's there, where there would be a city, it's almost just a burst of light and feathered wings as if they were flying forth from it.
Yeah.
But you don't
Exactly
actually see any human construction in it. It's all very picturesque scenery, rolling hills and rivers. And like you said, that symbol of Avacyn is artistically worked into the rivers, feeding and going from the Lake of Herons.
That's almost a Vanak.
Almost?
Almost. I wouldn't sell it if I were you. You'd get some really angry clients.
Good to know. I like the idea of a hillside without Thraben, shall we say.
Or...
I'll kill him.
I can imagine it's not really your taste, but I don't want to give it to... Well, maybe I should.
We have no, at least my group has no qualms with the angels. It's actually quite gorgeous. It's the city itself that irks me, but we've been that way a time or two.
I have. Or... Really was too young to remember it, I think. Anyway, could you point me to your grandmother?
Memory is such a fickle thing. Yes, follow me. Should we
Careful.
collect the others, or would you like a private meeting?
I'll go ask. I'm not sure if they're interested. And I'll walk towards Lorelei and Acrio, who are outside of the camp. The party isn't here, you know.
We're not really here for the party, I don't think.
Sure. To each their own. I'm going to do something other than party now. Are you interested?
She's depressed. I'm just keeping a watch out.
Hey,
Yeah, let's go.
where is it we're going?
Oh, maybe. I'll have a conversation with Andre's grandmother here. You might be able to call Cormac to us. Not in any undead sense of the word, of course, just to have a conversation with an echo.
That's a
That might
little
give us what
weird.
we need. Let's go.
Okay?
I'm
We'll
gonna,
pass
I'm
this
gonna
story
not question that for now. Let's go.
Can I have you make a deception check real quick?
Oh,
Because
yeah, sure.
it definitely involves a bit of undead. The rest of you would know that if you're going to talk to a lingering element of somebody, it's probably going to be a Geist, which, to be out and about, would be undead in a loose definition of the term.
Nobody made it undead.
As long as it's not corporeal and shambling, I don't care.
Right.
Sure.
Like,
Ariel,
the
you coming?
guys didn't really have a choice. They're there.
I mean, you could say the same of some zombies. The body just reanimates. It's not a lot of people even really realize why that happens sometimes. Especially in Nephalia, it's very common for bodies to just animate on their own.
Yeah. And it's like, it's still evil, but like, if you're gonna try and converse with the zombie...
From the church's perspective, sure.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm just saying that's what a Cathar would probably have been trained, yes.
Shut the fuck up.
Might be
Let's
evil.
go.
Asuriel, we're talking to that things. Come.
It's evil.
Oh,
it
okay.
dies.
You just sort of will kind of scurry over to them.
And
Oh my
I'll tell you what
God.
to.
What if Nephalia, like angel magic got corrupted? At one point, like, people getting raised as zombies, it wasn't zombies, people were getting raised just as people again. Because the land was so holy that when people died, the angelic power just fucking brought them back to life. But because, like, something happened, now when people die, it only partially works, and it brings them back as zombies.
You got enough red thread there?
That would be
For
so
your gold
cool.
All the dots. It's definitely
Okay.
a theory.
Okay.
Okay, theory.
Alright,
The
let's go.
dark-haired man with his curly mustache leads you all to a wagon. Is painted like a dark green. You can see some of the paint is flaking off. It's been a while. And it probably needs a fresh coat. This is one of the older wagons. They have carved wood on the all of the edges and the bench seat. It's very fancy. You would suspect there's probably some Nephalian work in there. And yes, Andre will open up the back. It's large enough that
Before he does,
a whole group could fit in.
How should I call her? Madam? Miss? Lady?
She goes by Lady Amamar.
Alright. We'll be respectful. Right, guys?
She's the lady of the camp, after all. I would expect so.
Of course, of course. So was my grandmother. I know it well.
You guys do bows? Or...
Disrespect is fine. Alright, take this.
Okay.
And yeah, so inside this wagon, this covered carriage, there's a round table. It's large enough that all of you can easily fit on these bench seats around the edge. In the front, kind of in shadow, is this old woman draped in a green cloak and hood. Andre steps in and kind of takes a seat next to her on her right hand, motioning for you all to gather as well. This woman has a deck of cards that she is like shuffling and laying out on the table and reshuffling. It looks like she was playing solitaire.
I was just about to ask, could you play solitaire?
Lady Amamar? My name is Cillian
A
Vistani.
pleasure to meet you, boy.
Likewise, of course. Always nice to meet one of the ladies. We were wondering if we... Well, maybe you might use one of your services. See, we're investigating a murder up in Corsica. Very personal things there. And we were wondering if maybe we could talk to the victim.
She takes one of her cards, flips it over, puts it in place, takes one of the other rows and moves it over. Is the spirit been laid to sleep? This will make things much harder.
Does she mean? Sorry.
It basically has the body been laid in a graft and had the church's blessing to put it into the blessed sleep, which you would suspect probably not yet.
The investigation isn't closed yet. I don't think so.
Then I suppose it may be possible.
I myself can help assisted these procedures many a time in my life, and I'd love to lend any assistance.
Which of our cousins do you come from, boy?
Oh
You're from Melia. Where do you come from?
Sitting off to the side, you see Andre get out this small pouch with a rolling paper, begins to fill it and roll a cigarette.
It's part of the daughters of my husband.
You have not met him in some time. It is good to see you, nephew.
Likewise, Auntie.
Now you come for a seance, and you know these things are not inexpensive.
Of course. Willing to give some. What are you expecting of me?
Andre likes his coin a bit too much. As you see him kind of like side-eye her, like, no, that's not true. But it totally is. I will take something else. The cost of this service. She kind of leans back. Andre strikes a match, lights a cigarette, hands it to her, and then she begins to. As he goes to roll a second one for himself. You will come across a girl. She is not a witch, but she is training to be a witch. You will send her to me. This is the price. Do you accept?
Without, like, any moment of hesitation or... Yes, I do.
She kind of, like, looks over the rest of you to make sure everyone is on board.
Acrio stands up, turns around, walks out without saying a word. Politely.
Plausible deniability.
Does a little bow, walks out the door. They can take care of this. and then a distant.
Don't worry about him. He's fine.
Acrio, can I get you to roll me a 1d54?
54, that's very
That's so specific.
I don't like that.
That's what.
I don't like
yeah.
what.
The great thing about tabletop RPGs online is that you can customize the dice.
Learn how to do that in real life.
So, as she's playing her game, shuffling the cards as you leave, she flips one over. The rest of you can see on the table, it is the Seven of Glyphs. It is the Charlatan card. What exactly that means, she seems to take notice. But yes, she looks to Asuriel and Lorelei after he leaves.
Lorelei just kind of shrugs, like, I have no problems with this. It's what needs to be done.
Cyril's just like not sure what's going on. She's just gonna ask about the girl, like, what does she look like? Where can we find her? Stuff like that.
You take my skills for granted. I've never met this girl. I couldn't tell you anything about her other than she is not a witch.
Oh, okay.
We will come across her. Don't worry. Have to keep our eyes open and our ears to the ground.
Alright then. Like, not sure what's going on, but guess we're doing it.
Okay.
So with everyone in agreement, Lady Amamar will take another drag the smoke filtering out of her nostrils. We shall begin. She reaches out her hands for everyone to take hold in a circle, those who are assembled.
Okay.
Lorelei, hands out.
Andre joins in this as well, which as he takes hold of Asuriel's hand, you just see him kind of wink in her direction.
She doesn't know it, but he's just sort of like awkwardly winks back.
His eyebrows kind of.
Take them out. Fuck. Go do.
And I need Cillian. I need you to roll an Arcana check as well as a religion check, as you are assisting with this hauling of a Geist.
Come on.
Big money, big money, big money. Decently sized money.
Yeah, that's good.
Big money.
That's big money.
Nice.
Acrio, what do you do after you leave the wagon? Do you linger or...
Probably go back to pacing the perimeter much quicker now.
What's going through his mind? Is he just blocking everything out, or is he trying to process what's going on?
It's a repeated amount of like shit. What have I got myself into? He's like, he needs to go along with this, but he shouldn't go along with this. And the church would literally have somebody's head if they found out they were doing this.
They won't find out.
Depending on which church you're talking about. Which segment, if it's possible.
Yeah.
I would say you would probably know it's somewhat an open secret that some Vistani are Geist callers, mediums, that sort of thing, and it's not... They're not hunted, they're not like actively pursued for it. It's definitely frowned upon within the church, but it's not something they execute people for.
That part, he was like, shouldn't really be doing that. But then they were like, hey, go help this witch so I can train her.
She didn't say she was going to train her to be a witch. She said she's not a witch. Just send her to her. You don't know what's going to happen afterward. Which is possibly why Acrio is so conflicted, is because not knowing what's going to happen afterward could be problematic.
It's like, hey, go find this person. They're trust me, they're not a witch. It's like, sounds kind of sus.
Within the cart, the old woman croaks this chant, this ritual. She's moved the cards aside. There is incense burning in the center of the table now. You all start to feel everything go a bit cold. And it was already a fairly chilly night, but now it's shivering cold. And you start to hear kind of this male voice, not speaking directly, but you start to realize it sounds like choking, like somebody choking on their own blood.
Oh dear.
There.
What
I
was
begin to
the
call out.
name of the individual?
Or my
Perhaps you
umbrella.
could. This spirit to whom we speak. And you hear this. Where am I?
style of Cormac?
Very wheezy and choking, but you've conversed with him long enough that you think it sounds very similar.
Okay. Hello there, Cormac. My name is Cillian. Do you remember me?
Yeah, I think I do.
You're dead. We're gonna let you go after this. Don't worry, it's not gonna take long. But for you to be laid to rest the right way, we're gonna have to know what happened to you. Because I don't think you were mauled by a dog.
There's a long silence. Dead. How? When? How long?
We're trying to figure out. I am sorry. Seems really nice. Can you help us in any way? Do you remember?
My throat. Hurt my throat.
Sorry, Cormac. I was really looking forward to working with you. Is there anyone you want us to tell anything?
Tell you when I'm sorry. Oh, and tell Magda this is important. Behind the rose, she'll know what that means.
You will. Don't worry, Cormac.
It was teeth, weren't it? Oh, I feel the teeth.
Okay. Thank you so much, Cormac. We're gonna let you go now. And I'm not the words lady. Monarch.
She will reach out, letting go of your hand, and just lick her fingers and pinch the end of the stick of incense. It kind of smokes for a second. Sorry, it didn't seem as productive as you wanted it to be.
Well, it's strange art. And I wasn't expecting clear answers, of course. I'm just really glad we did. To be honest, it wasn't totally for the investigation. I'm just glad we got to talk to him.
Spirits take time to process their being, especially when the death is fresh. There is not much memory.
About those that have been dead a long time.
Oftentimes it comes back for a period. Other times they remain a void. They can become very hostile. This ritual is dangerous.
It's a very subtle art. I'm sort of into it, and I still wouldn't try and start it myself. Thank you very much, lady.
As this was not quite what you paid for, would any of you care to know what is to become of you in the not
would I
too
now?
distant future?
That'd be perfect. I'd love to.
If you don't mind, can you tell the past as well as the future?
Is a trickier thing, oddly enough. The cards show many things, and often they portend what is to be. But I might look into the past.
If no one else, if you don't mind, I'd like that.
Sure.
She will take her Taroka deck, begin shuffling it, and on this round table, at one edge, she kind of like lays the deck, and then moves her hand. Each card coming out individually until there's a large semicircle in front of her. You will draw one card, then I will draw one, and you will draw one finally, and then we will have our reading.
Alright. She'll go ahead and draw one card.
Oh,
Stop your chuckling.
I'm sorry, Cillian knows what it is. So,
So the card you pull, do you lay it out or do you just like hand it to her? What do you do with it?
She just kind of like flips it over.
As you draw this card and you lay it or look at the face of it, you see the dungeon card. She will then draw a second one. It is the Three of Swords, the soldier card. And then finally she will gesture for you to draw a third. This is very interesting. You draw 2 cards from the high deck. That is not common. That is destiny. And as you look at the card, it is the raven. You see this black bird on the face of it. Your past is shrouded. You are imprisoned in some way. But you will fight. There will be war. There will be sacrifice. You will have the stamina to go on. You will endure. But the raven, it is a source of hidden information. Much about you is shrouded and will need to be revealed in time. This is not something I can do, I am sorry.
Alright. It's okay. Thank you anyway.
However, the raven does bring fortunate turns of events when information is revealed. So look forward to that.
Thank you so much.
She will take the cards.
Could you read them for me?
Absolutely. And she will begin shuffling them very quickly in her very bony, knuckly hands, her long fingernails. Very pristine, they're painted black. Moving over this deck as she then, again, moves them out in a semicircle across the table. Also a high deck card. Nephew, this group you have found is on a particular trail, and it is important.
how does this sound?
Lorelei, do you immediately look at the card, like, anxiously,
Yeah,
or do you
like-
just hand it to her?
She like kind of puts it like face up on the table.
Yeah, very quickly. You see it as a card called the Seer, which is like, not exactly a diviner, but someone with keen intellect and inspiration, almost intuition. The events of your future will hinge on a clever mind. Do not underestimate yourself. As she goes to draw a second card. This is the Two of Glyphs, which you see is the missionary card. Which her eyes kind of glance up to you before gesturing without saying anything.
But ooh, 23. I like that number.
As you draw this last card and it is placed face up, you see the Illusionist, kind of an arcane card, the Seven of Stars. Lady Amamar thinks for a moment. The Seer and the Missionary. The intuition to spread wisdom and faith. But the Illusionist. The Illusionist is lies, deceit. You have something to hide. And until this is exposed, your work will not begin.
Lorelei looks shaken by that.
Shooketh.
Yeah, shooketh right now. I see.
Would you care to join, nephew?
Yes, like,
You'll reshuffle them very quickly, laying them out again in this arc.
does your deck look like very used?
Oh yeah, it's worn, frayed on all the edges. Yeah, it's seen a lot of wear.
Okay. Cillian very carefully just lets his hand hover above all the cards in a circle. And then moves back one, sticks on one, slides it over very carefully, flips it.
You see Cillian pull, after some deliberation, almost trying to divine himself, the Master of Glyphs. It is the Priest card, which is interesting for a Vistani. And you see the briefest moment where the old woman's eyebrow arcs slightly before she also goes to draw. This is very interesting. As you see, she pulls the Master of Coins.
Oh shit!
Also called. Okay.
And yes, it is also referred to as the Rogue card.
Yeah, that's why I was laughing.
Oh wow!
During this entire thing, she hasn't spoken a word. Andre is watching, still with his own cigarette. And he's leaning in a little bit with interest as Cillian is going for the last card.
Do the same thing again, but this time take even longer, like 4 passes. Pick one out, flip it.
The last card you pull is the Six of Stars, the magical section of the deck. This is the Evoker card. And as the old woman's eyes narrow over the two master, the glyphs and the coin, and finally the Evoker. I was not wrong. There is purpose amongst this group. Grand purpose. You will witness this. You will be a part of this. However, she kind of like side eyes Andre for a second. Do not let your debts get in the way. Otherwise, destruction, supernatural curses of great magnitude will befall you.
I will follow this purpose.
This would be wise. I sense a change in the winds this year. The angels are far away.
I have a nervous feeling. The roads are worse. People are worse. Things are changing. Slightly. Spirits are resting. Let's touch.
Remember, the Evoker cannot be controlled. Do not hold on too tightly to anything you possess. Coin, power, your friend. And she kind of like looks across your shoulder at that. And you kind of feel that presence of Reigen. And that's where we're going to end today's session.
Ah!
Uh,
Oh my
Oh,
god!
it's awesome, Jake! I fucking loved it!